Hello, and welcome to another edition of Moment of Truth. Thank you for joining us today. We define Moment of Truth as a critical time in one's life when they're faced with an extreme situation or circumstance and a decision has to be made. Today we're talking about our Moment of Truth is centered around the building of a house. Yes, the building of a house. As you see behind me, there is a house being erected. This is a structure. The Bible says in Psalm 127 verse 1, the first part of the verse says, unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain that build it. Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain that build it. So what happens, a couple of sessions ago, we actually talked about us having a solid foundation, making sure our foundation in our lives is based upon Jesus Christ. Now we're finding ourselves here. We're thankful for who God is and what He means in our lives, but now we are at a point that we want to build up our structure. We want the walls to come up. We want the windows to go in. And we're using hammers and nails, and we're using all type of instruments to build up this structure. At the end of it all, it's going to be a beautiful home. But I tell you, the Bible says again, but unless the Lord builds this house. So, what the Lord wants from us, what He wants from you, and what He wants from me today, He wants to build our home. The Bible says that we are not our own, that we have been purchased with a price. And so, but then there is a part of me and there's a part of you that we have a responsibility to make sure that this structure is built and is pleasing to the Lord. So unless He builds the house, so therefore, as I build up my house, as I build up where I need to be in life, I need to use those screws of joy, and I need to use the hammer of righteousness, and then the end of it all, when the house is complete and the door is there, and I give the key of my house, of my mind, to God Himself, then my house actually becomes a home. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use different things. By the music I listen to, I'm going to fill up my house. But that music I'm going to listen to has to be pleasing to the Lord. The friends that surround me, I'm building up my house. The books that I read, I'm building up my house. The relationships I have with one another and the love that I have for God and for my friends and for all those people around me, I'm literally building my house. Now, once again, once the house is finished, what will take place? When it's all said and done, and I give my whole life to God Himself, my house actually becomes a home. Is your house a home? The Bible says again, unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain that build it. So, how's your house? Is it a home? Is it filled with the love of God? Are you surrounded by love, joy, peace, long-suffering, truth, honesty, purity? What's in your house? I challenge you today to take a look at your house. I'm talking about your mind. And see what you have constructed and see whether or not the Lord has built your home. I want to thank you for joining us today for another edition of Moment of Truth. And until next time, we thank you, and as always, peace.